Donald Trump did something amazing for Christians. I've recently been butting heads with some online Nazis. I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying that to describe who they are and what they are. I mean, here's Nick Fuentes, the toast of people like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson.
I told my parents, I'm like, Mom, Dad, the Holocaust didn't happen. And they were like, we did not raise you this way. I remember coming home from college and my second semester, I got home in the spring and I was like, Mom, Dad, Hitler was awesome. Hitler was right. And the Holocaust didn't happen. And my parents were like, we cannot believe what you are saying. We did not raise you like this. I'm like, I can't believe you're not being chill about this. I was like shocked because my parents aren't even that political. I mean, my parents are like vaguely conservative, like boomers are. And I thought they'd be down to fuck about it. I was like, yeah, guys, guess what? You're never going to believe what I discovered. And they were so not cool about it. They were pissed.
There is an occult element at the high levels of society, and specifically among the Jews. So many of the people that are perpetrating the lies and the destruction on the country, they are evildoers. They are people that worship false gods. They are people that practice magic or rituals or whatever. And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty. Straight up. And I'm far more concerned about that than I am about even non-white people or mass migration. These people that are communing with demons and engaging in this sort of witchcraft and stuff, and these people that are suppressing the name Christ and suppressing Christianity, they must be absolutely annihilated when we take power. This is God's country. This is Jesus's country. This is not the domain of atheists or devil worshippers or perfidious Jews. This is Christ's country.
Why don't you and Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin and Laura Loomer, you unlikable, despicable pieces of shit, why don't you get the fuck out of America and go to Israel, which we all know you love so much? Do us all a favor. Otherwise, you better get on board. Because whether you like it or not, this country is done. We're done with the Jewish oligarchy. We are done with the slavish surrender to Israel, the wars, the foreign aid, the policing of anti-Semitism, the Holocaust, religion, and propaganda. You know it. I know it. The young people in this country, the next generation, God bless them. On the left and the right, they know that you are full of shit. They're finished.
He also says he supports Joseph Stalin.
So it was like late December. It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Always an admirer. But we don't need to go into that, I guess.
Well, that's okay. Let's get back to it. We'll circle back to that.
So I really don't think you could call him conservative or liberal. And I'm not sure if he's right or left. I think he's just a general troll who says whatever he thinks will give him another burst of publicity. And I suppose I'm giving him his publicity too. The only unifying theme in what he says, I think, is that he hates the Jews. I just don't think it's enough of a philosophical worldview. But one of the things that Fuentes says is that he's Christian. Now, I don't believe that he is, and I don't believe that he actually thinks he is. I think it's just a prop in two ways. I think, first of all, it's just his way to distinguish himself from the Jews that he hates, and he hates other minorities too, of course. He once said that race mixing is as degenerate as having sex with an animal.
Would you say that me having sex with my dog is the same thing as me having sex with a black man?
No. But they would both be degenerate.
Oh, this. Well, that's a little bit, that's a little bit harsh.
Well,
could be seen as harsh, could be seen as disrespectful.
Now, I don't think Christians believe in that kind of thing. I think Christians believe that every person has the spark of God in them, in their humanity. I think Christians believe in the sanctity of life and that every human being has dignity and everyone can be saved, even if they're a sinner, even if they've done terrible things. Every time I travel to some place far away, I don't know about you, but I'm grateful when I go somewhere that the Christian missionaries had been there first. I mean, whatever else you might say about Central America and South America, aren't you glad that they're Christian? How about Polynesia, all the islands in the Pacific, including Hawaii and the Philippines? Aren't you glad that half of Nigeria is Christian? I sure am. Don't you wish that Syria and Iraq and Lebanon and Egypt and Turkey were still Christian? I do. And every country I've just listed is non-white. That's my point. Imagine thinking that Nick Fuentes or his racist followers are somehow Christian, let alone pro-American. But I mentioned Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa. It's almost exactly half Muslim, half Christian. And there's constant terror attacks against the Christian side from the Muslim side. You've heard of a terrorist group called Boko Haram before, perhaps? It actually uses the same flag as ISIS, so that tells you all you need to know. They're butchers. They commit horrific atrocities. Often they'll kidnap every girl from a village or from a girls' school, and they'll convert them all to Islam using the threat of raping them all or killing them all. Just horrific barbarity. There's a reason it's considered a terrorist group in many countries, not just in the West, but even in China, if you can believe it. Boko Haram is a terrorist group. The thing is, it's a festering wound in Nigeria, and it's not getting fixed. And Trump, well, he's in the mood to fix things, isn't he? I mean, it seems like every month he announces a negotiated solution to another war around the world about which the mainstream media before then didn't care and probably didn't even know about. But Trump somehow goes in and knocks some heads together and gets a solution, often using the threat of U.S. military power, but more, I think, U.S. economic power. And the thing is that unfortunately doesn't work with Islamic jihadists now, does it? They're not really interested in a trade deal or redrawing a few lines on a map. They believe in martyrdom to serve their supremacist vision. Any agreement they make is just a temporary truce from which to strengthen their next attack. That's why I'm pessimistic about the Gaza deal at the end of the day. It actually presumes Hamas will remove itself from Gaza. I don't think they will. But back to Nigeria. On Friday, Donald Trump wrote this. He said, Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. But that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide, something must be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. Donald J. Trump. Very interesting. I love how he phrases things sometimes. Our great Christian population around the world. Well, I suppose he didn't get the reaction he wanted from Nigeria, though in fairness to the Nigerians, I think it was the weekend already when he put that social media post out. But Trump posted this on Saturday, just 26 hours later. Let me read this to you, and that's the last of the reading I'll do. He said, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. Yeah, that's quite something to write, isn't it? Tell me any other world leader who would communicate like this. Strike that. Tell me any other world leader who would communicate like this and have the ability to actually follow through. I mean, talk is cheap, right? But Trump gets to the point in a few sentences. It's diplomacy like we've never seen it before, and you better believe he means it. And now the Secretary of War, as you know, that's the new title for the Defense Secretary, he wrote back to Trump online saying simply, yes, sir, the killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and anywhere must end immediately. The Department of War is preparing for action. Either the Nigerian government protects Christians or we will kill the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. Now, I'm guessing that the Nigerian government is happy to comply. I'm no expert in Nigeria, but I think they genuinely have problems with Islamic jihadists, and they're not so much permitting it as they're simply unable to fight back conclusively. Here's what the Nigerian government said on Saturday after this flurry of social media. The Nigerian government on Saturday vowed to keep fighting violent extremism and said it hoped Washington would remain a close ally after President Donald Trump added the West African nation to a U.S. watch list over what he said were threats to Christianity. Quote, the federal government of Nigeria will continue to defend all citizens, irrespective of race, creed, or religion. Like America, Nigeria has no option but to celebrate the diversity that is our greatest strength, its Minister of Foreign Affairs said in a statement. I think that might be a way of them saying, look, we've got more than 100 million Muslims here, boss, and 12 of our states, 12 states in Nigeria, like provinces, are governed by Sharia law. Did you know that? I mean, they really do, like in the Quran. Let me read a few lines from this Council of Foreign Relations essay. Inhumane Sharia punishments, including flogging, amputations, and stoning, have long embarrassed the federal government of Nigeria. That is happening now with the 121th prison sentence handed down by a Kano Sharia court to a 13-year-old boy, Omar Farouk, and the death sentence handed down by the same court, again for blasphemy, on a 22-year-old musician, Yahya Sharif, for a song he shared on social media. A third, Mubarak Bala, a self-proclaimed atheist, has disappeared in police custody. These cases have attracted attention in the international press and in Nigeria. Let me point out that all of the people who were arrested, prosecuted, charged, convicted, sentenced in that story I just quoted, they're Muslim themselves. The Sharia law in Nigerian provinces applies to the Muslims in those provinces. So all the people who were in trouble I just listed are actually Muslims or atheists or moderate Muslims being just massacred by the government. What do you do? I mean, that's not a terrorist attack. That's their legal system. Do you see the pickle Nigeria is in? So, yeah, I have no idea how you can run a country of nearly 250 million people, half Muslim, half Christian, 12 Sharia provinces, and an annual GDP of only around $1,000 per person. I don't know how you do it. But I do know this, if there's something that can be done and isn't being done now, Trump will find it and do it. Or more likely pressure the Nigerians into doing it. They don't want to be marginalized like South Africa is, Trump calling them out for their anti-white racism. I don't know if you saw that story. I mentioned it in passing the other day. Amazing news last week. Quote, U.S. to drop refugee intake to 7,500, down from more than 100,000 under Biden. The vast majority of those being accepted during the fiscal year were white South Africans and other victims of illegal or unjust discrimination, a White House memo says. Now, Nigeria is not as belligerent as South Africa is. At least I don't think it is. I'm riveted by all of this. I mean, will Trump and the Pentagon start doing what they're doing off the coast of Venezuela? I don't know if you've been following, but the U.S. Navy is targeting individual boats from drug smugglers and just blowing them up in open waters. It's very dramatic. I mean, in a way, you got an aircraft carrier and major naval assets just taking out these little speedboats. It's sort of like shooting fish in a barrel. Would Trump and the Pentagon do similar in and out special forces raids on Boko Haram headquarters in Nigeria? Nigeria's a big country. Maybe the Nigerians would want the help. Maybe U.S. technology ranging from wiretapping to satellite and drone imagery to special equipment, even drones. Maybe the U.S. can simply do technologically what the Nigerians can't do. That's my guess. I mean, have you ever heard of the Nigerian army before? I'm not saying it's got nothing, but it obviously would be no match for the technology of the U.S. military. Maybe a few days worth of raids and missiles and drones can dramatically degrade Boko Haram. I don't know. I have no idea. Nigeria is so massive, though. It's not like Gaza. It's huge. I don't know about any of those details. I'm just not going to pretend I'm a Nigeria expert, but I do know this. In one fell swoop, Donald Trump just did more for actual Christians than any of the online Nazis who claim to be motivated by Christianity, though not a Christianity I think many of us would recognize. Even if Trump doesn't in the end make a substantial difference in Nigeria, he's already made an enormous moral difference, a symbolic difference, hasn't he? He's normalized caring about Christians. He's normalized talking about anti-Christian persecution, and he's normalizing deploying the U.S. military to defend Christians around the world. And why not? For decades, it seems like the Pentagon's mission has been to help Muslims. I mean, think about all the wars America's had in Kuwait, in Iraq, in Libya, in Somalia, in Qatar, in Afghanistan, and even in Kosovo, like for a generation. Trillions of dollars, thousands of lives to fix Muslim countries. Why not spend some of that firepower actually helping Christians around the world who need it? Whether it's in the form of refugee status for those Boer farmers of South Africa or helping Christians in Nigeria. I got to say, I like it. Do you?